1.3, 96.7 FM.
Keeping It Real is an interactive radio program heard only on Nice Radio. Join your host, Joel Abraham, every Friday as we discuss important issues affecting our society from 8 to 10:30 p.m. For persons living outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you can still listen to us on Nice Radio's website, www.niceradio.info, or you can email us at bdsnice@gmail.com, or simply give us a call at 784-456-5967. Remember, it's Keeping It Real, the interactive talk show program heard each and every Friday only on Nice Radio.
Market, and it varies to run amok, unregulated and unmitigated. I listened this morning and I heard, and again, I'm saying this respectfully, so no one feel any disrespect in this. I heard a sentiment across the board from people calling it, what right does the government have in, addressing the market and dealing with the market? What right does
And the Grenadines Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves says workers who lost their jobs after refusing to be vaccinated will still get their benefits even if his government wins an appeal against the court judgment. The Gonsalves
and meat. And Bija tell me who put me soul on dead already. Is we make them wicked pirates have the train hijack. I'm making him laugh. I must be accommodated. Give him 6 reasons why we should vote them back. I say reason number 1. If you see me, I'll sing the brain. I can't find a reason. I feel shame. But you know the conductor will love to explain. It's 24 years, he conducting the train. Happy jobs, if I borrow them fellas' brain. They riding high, and we can't sustain. He said, and I quote, if you put them back there again, no more gravy left on the gravy train. Some the horn, choo-choo. Some the horn, choo-choo. Oh, Ebony call me bandit, well that nearly start a brawl. I put many train for more, and he have nothing at all. Marshy tell me sit down and wait, we can't afford that. Things so hard in this place, woman.
Good night, children. Sandy Grenadine. It is Friday, the 18th of July, 2025. And you know, at this time, what is on the air? Keeping It Real. Yes, Keeping It Real is on the air once again. So wherever you may be, every nook and cranny, every crab, old dog, old foxhole, we even have rabbit hole now because some rabbit get away and they have dog hole like if they were in the wild. So we have rabbit hole available also too now. If you are in one of the bunny hole, you don't be afraid to turn on whatever medium that you may be using. AI, TikTok, Facebook, WhatsApp, or the regular radio airwaves. What medium keeping it real is on the air? And as the saying goes, there is never ever all the carbon monoxide and all the other bad enzyme that is inside of you. To make sure that when you take that deep inhalation of oxygen, your system is prepared to be enlightened, informed, and educate of the issues that are affecting us, whether it be local, regional, or international. And don't be surprised also, it could be AI or false news, as they are saying. False or fake. So be prepared, because keeping it real is on the air. And remember, it's an interactive program. So when the lines are open, all we ask you to do is keep it clean, keep it real, no scandalous scaremongering, rumor spreading, or maligning of anyone or anything that can cause this radio to be in disrepute. We don't want that. Neither us nor you. Just keep it real. And we all will be safe. Keeping it real is on the air now. Now, I'm going to be continuing with the whole situation concerning workers. In 1998, the workers of this country rise up through the various organizations against the NDP government. And it was on workers' issues. And it dragged on into 2001 when you had the road blockage in 2000, when you had children couldn't go to school to do their exams, pregnant ladies couldn't get to the hospital, and other people with medical issues couldn't get because there was blockage, both from the windward side and the leeward side. And it culminated with early election in 2001. But prior to that, in 1998, when the ULP lost the election, but they got the popular vote, and they also used the demonstration on the road, and they were calling for fresh election and that the government should step down because they were unpopular. Now, the situation, they said, they would make this country ungovernable. And that statement still stands up to present because this country is ungovernable based from those statements. If you check the record and you analyze it, you would see that that statement that was made by the ULP government and has not been withdrawn is a stigma on this blessed state of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And the workers has always been behind the 8 ball from ever since. The percentage they were asking for, they never receive it. And what we received was a party with a lot of promises, a lot of say they're gonna make your life better for you. You would take you out of slavery and out of all the wrongs that were being done to us. But that has never ever took place. Instead of that, it's more blows, taxation, inflation, retrenchment, unlawful firing, and then to crown it off was the vaccine mandate, where your rights as to what should be taken into your body, you had no right over that. So it's either you took the vaccine or lose your job. So hundreds of civil servants and police and teachers and the general public also, those in the public sector, lost their job. Some migrated, some died out of stress because they couldn't face their property was sold by the various institutions that had them in mortgage, and they couldn't even send the children to school, and it continued under this regime that made it clear that they would make this country ungovernable. Crime and violence is out of control. And when I said crime and violence, in every form, even the small petty crime, where people go in and pick your fruit, your breadfruit, your mangoes, your guavas, your cherry, and they hustling for $1. And you tell them on the block they're not seeking employment because there's no employment. Or even when they go and seek employment, the wages that we are getting here. Because some companies willing to pay higher, but those in authority dictate the level of payment you should receive. You can't pay higher than what the government pays. But yet still, you see a KFC worker, you love worker, right? So if a company want to pay workers 10% more than what you set, because the company know the value of workers, but you are denying workers those benefits. But then yet you're overtaxing them. And what little increase you offer them, you're giving it one hand and you're taking it with two. Because you find ways to take it back to the NIS, or the rise of gas and other thing, inflation is out, and the basic food stuff, basket of goods and service. We a man used to spend $100 for a proper meal for the basket of goods and service. That is now $250. It's a runaway inflation that we have. People are juggling as to which bill to pay. Whether they're gonna pay the water bill or leave the water bill and pay the light bill and these sort of things. And then you are boasting about $250 for social welfare allowance. So then you are saying the basic basket of goods of service that is valued at $250 is what? So what were the other things that they have to think? The other amenities. Medical for the elderly is astronomical. And sometimes you go to the hospital and you can't get the basic medication. even bandages, patients have to leave and send by the various drugstore. I don't know if you ever noticed that one of the fastest growing business in and around the country are drugstores. They are spreading out faster than wildfire throughout this country. So, these are the sort of things. But I have to focus in on the workers and the condition that they are going under. And persons who are supposed to be representing workers has turned a blind eye. It was insultive and downright injustice when you offer workers 0.5% after freezing them for 2 years with no increase. And because the two organizations, teachers and the public servant, walk with their phone, which they are accustomed to, you use that as an excuse. And the other unions went in and accepted 0.5%. They didn't put forward any proposal. 0.5% for the lowest paid workers in this country. And you're telling me that you cares about workers? Is this a regime that cares about workers? And I must talk about this one tonight, because this is total injustice. The unions have taken the government to court with numerous matters. The government has lost, but yet still the union has not been paid. And who can they go to get a redress? These are things that need to be looked into. Then also, there's a situation with the same vaccine mandate case. When the unions won in the court, I think it took the government 30 days for the appeal to be upheld. And it took another 50 days for the matter to be heard. But it's over 100 days, going into 200 days now, that the union has appealed to the Privy Council. And I don't think they have got a response from the legal here in St. Vincent as to say what is the status. So is it that this is another ploy of denying workers their justice? Huh? There was a case where the civil servant took the government to court for no promotion. A number of persons. They won the case and the government proposed an appeal of the matter. They never put forward a case for appeal. And justice has not been served in these matters. So where is justice? How could the average man get justice for their labor? And here is the situation too. They have amended the labor laws and they can't bring it forward because they cannot see the light of day. And workers now no longer are being severed. They are saying that your time of service is up, and any benefit you have to get, you have to accrue it by the NIS. And sometime when you're going by the NIS, you still have another 5 years to work in your life. But the company say you can tell you at 60. So those 5 years, you have to find some ways, because if you go and take it, because you have to go until you're 65 to get your pension, you lose, because it has moved now from 6% to 8%. So 5%, 5 years by 8%, that is 40% of the what meager little that you are getting. Could this be a government with heart and cares about workers after they don't put in so much years of service for develop this country. So you're dying before you could enjoy your golden years that you have served this country. But in their case, they only have to do 2 terms. 2 terms or 10 years, and they're entitled to their pension and gratuity. Workers, wake up. Wake up. Love yourself. Love your country. Politicians only cares about politicians. We as people have to stand up and make a stand. The time is now more than ever for we to understand the importance. Yeah. And now we have to simply look. It is 25 years since the ULP is in office. And some of them have not been in office for 25 years. I think it's only maybe 2 persons who stand the time, which is the Prime Minister and Daniel. Along the way, they have made changes. But if you look at their lifestyle and you look at the wealth that they have accumulated, you who have been working for 40 years have not attained that sort of thing. So therefore, you could understand the whole situation as workers. And as I said before, I am talking about workers tonight. Because it pains me when you have workers working for 35 years at the Sports Council and can't make $75 a day. It pains me when you have workers working at the agriculture out in the field and showing that the forest is taken well care of, and cannot make $60 a day. And you're bringing a new act, a new labor team covering them, where you see that you're talking about hazardous pay. And the union has not picked up on it, where the new workers, minimum wage is $50 and they're getting $8 for hazardous pay. But the old workers has not changed. So some old workers which were at $54 remain at $54. Which and while it's a serious anomaly that these workers should also benefit from the $8 that is put on for hazardous pay, because they were the one who was doing this hazardous work over the years. But you don't hear nobody talking about it, except me. And nobody going to explain to the workers their rights. And these things can't be. It shouldn't be. If a new bill is being passed, I think the owner should be on the various departments and the labor department mainly to explain these new wages to the workers. So workers could then now be able to query when they are not getting what is rightfully theirs. But what's the Minister of Labor? The same Minister of Agriculture. So while agriculture is tumbling down, all the minister is doing is twiddling his thumbs. Yes, under him, fishery is gone. And the fisheries department, where George King, they had to move from there and the headquarters because of mold and other things that are affecting the workers. Similar with the Ministry of Education. Similar with certain section of the hospital. The Louis Bonnet home, they had been moved to the old nurses hostel. And so long they're supposed to reconstruct. But they don't care about the welfare of these elderly persons and indigent persons who has no way. And they couldn't be bothered. They couldn't be bothered. That is not as important. And it is said, a country who do not take care of its lesser persons is a country that don't have an heart. And that is what St. Vincent has become to. We are selfish, all for ourselves, greedy, because there's enough here. But once you oppose the wrong that are taking place, you have to get on the gravy train in order to enjoy the gravy. And they're saying it shouldn't have to be, and it ought to stop. It ought to stop. And when I said stop, I mean stop right now. My brothers and sisters, please take heed of my words that I have mentioned. And workers, you have to come together. Forget about the organization who don't want to represent you. There are other ways and means that we can. We did it in 98.
Seven FM.
Keeping It Real is an interactive radio program heard only on Nice Radio. Join your host, Joel Abraham, every Friday as we discuss important issues affecting our society from 8 to 10:30 p.m. For persons living outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you can still listen to us on Nice Radio's website, www.niceradio.info, or you can email us at bdsnice@gmail.com, or simply give us a call at 784-456-5967. Remember, it's Keeping It Real, the interactive talk show program heard each and every Friday only on Nice Radio.
And the Grenadines Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves.
Major feature of the month-long activities will see the hosting of the Caribbean region's first Emancipation Cricket Festival. The Grenadines.
Give me 2
It's
seconds.
not a tournament.
Give me
It
2
is
seconds.
It is
2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. And I quote from CPL letter. We are delighted to confirm that CPL has no objection to this tournament. Where did the word tournament come from, and who indicated to them that it was a tournament?
well. They must have had some misconception. What is the name of the event?
Sure that they get
Festival.
What's the name
their
of the event?
benefits, but I have to put the matter clearly as to what represents.
Well, what the law plainly states, it is an annoyance to the public, to the general public. It is not what it is being intended for. And once you have been caught in your horn to any passengers, you will be charged according, this is under the omnibus regulation. Once you have been caught honking your horn for the purpose of calling passengers, you will be charged, ticketed according to the law. So that is a no-no. The law is there to govern everyone.
And you would not lose any of your benefits.
Pleasant good night again. Oh, yes, I'm reading to you first from the Professor Selwyn Ryan booklet, Winner Takes All. Complain that even when the opposition won 3 seats and 40 question of genuine public concern, such as the size of the public debt. Civil provided information and did not base who said that he can never rule against the government. ULP said no to Caribbean Court of Justice, and we did now from the newspaper August 4 as the final court of appeal. Political leader of the Unity Labour Party, Dr. Gonsalves, stated this clearly last Monday night as the party launched 2 papers for public discussion. Papers presented were on constitutional reform and the ULP social contract with civil society. He noted that with the Caribbean Court of Justice, there may be the risk of political interference. So it's better to have an independent court, Dr. Gonsalves have also raised the question of financing for the Caribbean Court of Justice, and he questioned whether all the countries involved will be willing to meet their financial obligation. Instead of establishing a Caribbean Court of Justice, the ULP called for a magistracy to be regionalized. Of particular concern is the question of political interference in the judiciary, especially the magistracy. One possible way to reduce or even eliminate to regionalize the magistracy in the same way that judiciary at the level of the High Court and the High Court of Appeal are regionalized. Dr. Gonsalves stated during the presentation at the Kingston Methodist Church Hall. The ULP leader stressed that perhaps consideration should be given for a Caribbean-wide Court of Appeal. He, however, said that such a court should not replace the Privy Council and should not be the final appellate authority. At present, plans are progressing for the establishment of the Caribbean Court of Justice with its headquarters in Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, you may wonder document first. Somebody sent something to me earlier this week, and I was at a loss. So as usual, I had to conform it to make sure was there, was fact. And I believe that the parties in question should have given us the information before, but nevertheless, we will receive those information tonight. So you will remember that the government case, the judgment from Justice Henry, they asked also for a stay of the order. It will just be convenient in the interest of justice to make the order for a stay of execution of the judgment pending the hearing and the determination of the intended appeal in order to prevent undue prejudice to the appellant. Without the stay, it basically will render the appeal of no importance. And they went on to say that if they doesn't grant the stay, that the public servant basically will receive the money government the money. And that stay was granted. That stay was requested on the 17th of March 2023. So I received this troubling information. On March 13, 2023, Justice Henry ruled in the favors of the public servants and the teachers. By April 20th, the stay of execution, the order was granted so that the government can appeal to the Court of Appeal to get the matter heard. It took only 38 days for the stay to be granted, and the government got leave to appeal the matter. "38 days." So it went in the government favor, and the stay was granted, and the government appealed the decision of the single judge, Justice Henry. By February 2025, the Court of Appeal ruled against the public servants and teachers. And this is the part that is troubling now. The 3rd of March 2025, the public servants, through the lawyers and the teachers, apply for a leave to appeal to the Privy Council, basically asking the court permission to appeal to the British Privy Council. And as we speak, today is 137 days later, and the application for the leave to appeal was not granted. So as we speak, the matter is not before the Privy Council. The matter is still in the Caribbean because the court has not granted the leave or the order, that order for the public servants and the teacher to appeal to the British Privy Council. So 137 days later, no leave to appeal was granted. But mind you, the first instance, it took 38 days for the leave to be granted. Today, 137 days later, no leave were granted. And now you'll understand why I read the two documents. Because if Dr. Gonzalez at the time, as a lawyer for over 20 other years at the time, had problem with the CCJ, and I could remember we having those discussions in terms of the composition of the CCJ and where judges could have been John Foreman, among other things. And Dr. Gonzalez, was a lawyer, had seen local court, the local magistracy, court of appeal. And it will just be reasonable for us to assume that Dr. Gonzalez fear then is our reality now. Because Dr. Gonzalez was fearful of political interference and other things. Why the ULP at the time were objecting. So, important issue like this, dealing with people's livelihood, 137 days later, that application cannot be granted for the teachers and the public servant to have the matter in the same court that Dr. Gonzalez so praised and indicated to us. If something is not broken, why fix it? And obviously, we can only logically assume there's something wrong with our system here. If on one occasion, because of quote unquote, the court believed the importance of the matter of the stay to grant the stay of execution in 38 days and grant leave to appeal, then we ask ourselves the same question, the same case, same persons are involved, only thing, the government, quote unquote, appeared to be on the winning side and not the public servants this time. So 137 days later, no leave were granted. So the document individuals. Vincent Beach indicated when he was interviewed by Selwyn Ryan, the judiciary and the magistracy were also said to be corrupt and not independent. So I want to ask the question, was Vincent Beach? That is a question. As an opposition member, were also said to corrupt and independent, and that is nice language. opinion, Vincent Beach believed what he was saying, but don't bother with the word what also said. Vincent Beach held that opinion that there were corruption and they were not independent. And Dr. Gonsalves stated that clearly, especially, he said, in the magistracy. Vincent Beach also went on to say, the judiciary here, and he was talking about in the region, tend to give the benefit of the doubt to the government rather to what the law actually said. So you have the public servants and the teacher, some of them who are home, struggling, some of them who have then gone to the great beyond, some of them who have lost their vehicles and other things. They have been suffering for a very long time, for years. Been suffering. And here is it, when the government lost in, let me call it the court of first instance, the High Court in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the government immediately decided to appeal the decision of the judge and asked for stay. The stay was granted. They were given permission to appeal. They appealed. They won on the appeal, even though there's question the lead judge and what were filed overseas against him. But that is for another time. But we had problem cited with that. But 137 days later, when all of us who are here waiting for the matter to be heard at the British Privy Council and to see that to hear that the teachers and the public servants are vindicated, apparently we just have to wait a little longer until the justices are pleased. I was going to use another word, but until the justices are pleased to grant permission. So that should have been done almost instantaneously. It's people's livelihood we are talking about that are at stake. And we are playing the fool as a country, as a judiciary, a regional judiciary. I have problem with this because we are waiting for justice. We are waiting to see, just like how the government wanted to know whether or not Justice Henry decision could have been upheld if there another pandemic or a pandemic. We want to know whether or not the government action and the action or the judgment of the Court of Appeal were in order with the law, understanding of the law. Most of the things cannot stand in terms of, according to Vincent Beach, if you basically go according to the law. This is what he said. If they go according to the law, we know there's procedures, and Justice said we were correct in terms of her assessment and her judgment or ruling in the particular incident. You were 100% correct. There are procedural error. There are a lot of errors in there. And here is it. The public servants and the teachers are waiting patiently. Some of them are turning in their graves because of this particular impediment on them, because of our court of justice, the court of appeal. This must be sad, very, very sad. I deal with one other issue because we have to, I listened to my friend King, I think it's Corporal or Sergeant King. I can't remember his particular rank. And I laughed. So technically, he was quoting from the regulation, it's a fact, but I laughed. Because I went through the regulation and I want to know whether or not we still we not basically of this. Maybe it was a quick case was done before the first SRNO came into effect in 1959. There was some SR1 in 63, and the last one, well, with this document is 1990. I'm reading from the 1990 Laws of Service and Revenue, but if you have the 2009 is in volume 14. But the thing basically remained the same. And I was looking under the regulation. King indicated that it's a part of the regulation. And the officer, and Smith and King and whoever else from the police and other department of government, when you basically state in the law, you should basically state to us where it's taken from. Make it a lot easier for all of us. So I said that to the supervisor of election, and still like waiting on her particular point out to us the particular provision in the law that she was referring to. But at least so under 355, volume 8, 91 is volume 14, but it basically says the same thing. Special registration, special regulation for drivers of public service vehicles. The driver of a public service vehicle shall comply with the following regulations. He shall not use a horn or other instrument for the purpose of calling passengers. One. Two. He 4. He shall not call out to others a person to travel by such public service vehicle. He shall not loiter for the purpose of or otherwise. He shall not, while waiting or picking up other unnecessary noise with his engine. He shall, at the request of any passenger, to enable such passenger to, providing that he does thereby cause an obstruction, provided that further that on the roads where omnibus stopping. Places are prescribed. He shall not pick up or set down passenger anywhere than at such places. He shall not in the town of Kingston draw up his own omnibus on a road other than a public stand appointed under these regulations, except for the purpose of taking on or discharging passengers or cargo. He shall maintain the public service vehicle in a clean and condition. He shall carry at least one spare of his vehicle, wear his badge conspicuously and in such a manner that the whole of the writing thereon is distinctively legible. This badge shall be issued to him by the licensing authority free of charge in the first instance. But if any driver to whom a badge has been issued satisfy the licensing authority that his badge has been lost or defaced, the licensing authority shall, on payment of a fee of 50 cents, that is the law then, issue to across. I trying to figure out what is the badge that they're referring to, so I try to find out from two police friends of mine, and I don't know if they was clear or I was clear in terms of what the law actually speaks to when it indicates the badge. And one told me he believed that is the but that I don't know what is the badge. If any police officer listening and they could explain what they're referring to and they speak to the conductor having it. But I'm just saying the laws and the book are outdated and we should focus more the safety of the invention public, like putting back the speed limit, having the breathalyzer and all those things. We should body cameras and among other things and dealing with these, in my opinion, stupidness. So what we can do is basically really bring serious laws to bear that will protect the life of the commuters and the traveling public. Because that, in my opinion, is nonsense. In all due respect, it's on the book and it should be removed. It's nonsense law and it should be removed. That don't make any sense to me. And the rest, most of the rest thing,
Well, I'm hoping that workers will understand their situation, because at the end of the day, if you don't get the necessary ink so that when working, the pension you will get will be based on the money that you earn There's some other area that I plan to look into over a period of time where some category of workers, the wages that they earn is tantamount of basically slavery.
I think also the bosses of different employment, whether government or I was speaking to an individual today, and he working for over a number of years, over 10, 12, 14, 20 years. So I'm going to give you the exact thing so we could. And when he applied for his vacation leave this year, his superior obviously don't know the law. Working days you are entitled to. And then the other nonsense that the 2 days that is required or that you are required to have in any case
Prayer.
2 days, and it was particularly given to female during the menstrual cycle in the early days. So in those days they gave the 2 days. 'Cause I was told you didn't have all the medication and other thing to ease your pain and all things. So the particular law was placed for that reason. So on the 3rd day, if you don't show up to work, then you deem as abandoned your work. But that dodo head indicating that is not in the law. I don't know if he remove it from his document, but that is the law. You are entitled to 2 days without a medical certificate, and on the 3rd day you turn up to work or you present a medical certificate. That is the law. And for persons in position of authority and those for that, you ought to be schooled. And when the document, or if the document have the person, they should have advised you. And I tell you this also, you are head of the department and you can call the office of the Attorney General, and he should be able to, or he ought to guide you as the legal issues of those matters. So don't make yourself look like a fool anymore. Just follow the necessary.
Mainly is that persons are talking to people, calling them at the home and informing them about things. But from way in memorial, and I don't think that has changed, black and white, it has to be record of things, because many a time all
just take the first call. Hold on. A pleasant good night. Good night. Hello.
Overseas, the internet messing up bad.
Go ahead.
No, I said the internet from overseas messing up bad. That's all I called.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So area for work, what you said that all. I'm on my time off because I work over the weekend, and I was granted back a day of my choice, and I said which day I wanted, and it was given to me. And the person in charge said, if you don't turn up, I'm gonna be writing you up.
You see, those things should be in writing.
Exactly.
And in any case, yes.
So now here is this work. Wrong, you end up as looking at if you are a scoundrel. Yeah, because you end up by some business place, and the business place can't get the money because why? There's no fund available from that vote for such thing. But here it is now. You are told to go ahead and do such. And then those who are responsible withdraw themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have some problem, and then I want a particular trade union leader to give me a call because there's a funny situation here where a particular individual were working with him, well, the company. She basically was sick for 2 days. We went to Thursday.
That is a breach of her rights.
Those things
There's a breach of her rights.
Those things ought not to happen, and therefore the person need to get back to work immediately. But I received some other information a while ago, but I will. Yeah, somebody indicated that it is breaking up badly and they are frustrated. So caller you heard just now, there are some serious internet. Yes.
Now, there's
security in our cricket. And instead of what I am hearing from other people, not only Dr. Gonza, but other people, it's a give bad taste in my mouth to hear it. He can be classified as a young man, well, but a young person in my opinion, and that by Dr. statement for society. Can do better than that, other people. Here is it. He's a young man, relatively, and he for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And instead of we give him our support, every way we turn is just lambasting and bashing. I mean, and coming from Dr. Gonsalves, the leader of the political party in government in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, is uncalled for. And we can do better, a lot better.
While on that, I was to call you about playing of his music. One song that I think that was a song that is in We Can Make It. We can make it easier if we try.
Yeah, so that is the problem. And Dr. Gonsalves, the thing is that there's a problem in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in terms of sports generally, and also with the playing fields and other things like that. And we can review that also and revamp the nonsense that and have it. I mean, like I indicated to you before, sometimes the playing field used to be abused, mainly by the footballers. Because I used to love playing in the rain too, but it used to be abused, and let me just take this call. Pleasant good night.
Father Abraham and Foya.
Yeah, good night.
Yes, I hear you some remarks about Dr. This Kishon.
Yes.
Yeah, but you didn't talk about the kind of name he calling it a prime minister. I have no respect for prime minister.
Well, disrespect bigger and disrespect. If you started it.
So you think a two and an eye?
Well, sometimes that is your understand something.
Yeah, but Dr. Friday, Dr. Gonsalves, love everyone. Whether NDP.
Okay.
And for everybody.
Okay.
And he governed for everybody.
Okay.
And he because shallow. The kind of thing that shallow doing.
Like what?
To keep down Sylvan too.
Like what? Like doing what? By what? To start to stop her?
All this kind of thing.
By what?
Because when Yanisville, when they light up Yanisville, put this scoreboard, everybody from all my country going and seeing. From time Vincent and so behind we're going to doing. He was like put a cap on this thing.
So here my thing. Dr. Gonsalves indicated recently that the board should resign. Because, wait first. Because of the failure of the West Indies. I don't know if you ever St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we have 55 murder in 1 year. We did the Commissioner of Gonsalves designed as the Minister of National Security. And he basically asking for something that you think that is fair? No, me man. I ask you a straightforward question.
If I think that is fair, Mr. Gonsalves is fair, yes.
No, I'm asking. I'm asking you. It have 55 murder 1 year, the highest in Basin and the Grenadines. Under Dr. Gonsalves as the Minister of National Security, I can't remember who was the commissioner. If it is Colin, I can't remember. But Colin didn't resign. Dr. Gonsalves didn't resign.
Why?
I'm asking you. So why should Shallow and his board resign because West Indies didn't perform? That's the question I'm asking. No, you didn't.
Resign.
No, you didn't. So why Dr. Gonsalves should? Like I said, no, they say in the same breath. Because, no, wait, in the same breath, we increased in crime over years, and Dr. Gonsalves was the Minister of National Security, and his commissioner didn't resign, and Dr. Gonsalves resigned also in the same breath, because the ignorance of it is that we can.
Resign, and the Prime Minister them because Dr. Shalud sending a check to Sylvain Sue. He tried to keep down Sylvain Sue. He don't want no game player to government.
Let me ask the question again. I think during the thing we had recently where the Symbios was supposed to pay the security. The security, right? The West Country paid their security. We agree, according to the people then. We agreed to pay the security, and the security and they were not paid what we agreed to. A lot of police officers, Symbios police officers went for long hours, different duty, and they didn't receive the money that they were promised by the state. Do you think Dr. Gonsalves should resign because of that? Agreed amount. They agreed a certain amount for our, and they didn't receive that. And Dr. Gonsalves indicated that it was too much, and they had to revamp they had to revise the list. They did with me. You can't recall that.
Well, he's the ruler of the country.
Yeah.
But he could afford
no,
that.
but what I'm saying, as the ruler of the country, you have to. But you have loan or taxpayers' money. That is what I'm trying to explain to you.
Well, some of them is a grant at all.
Loan. So what it is?
But what happened?
So what it
What
is?
happened?
Tax loan
I'm going to
grant.
tell you where money come from.
Uh-huh.
The money come from, them tourists come to Sylvan, so?
Yeah, but
And
that is
day
grant.
and night.
But that is
US
tax.
and night.
But that is tax. If it is tax.
Yes, tax. And then
exactly. Hey, what? You have intention, and I don't know if you ever play sports. I was involved in sports. I was involved with different aspects of sport. You give him the bat, and you can't tell him how to perform. You could encourage him and tell him what to do, but you can't tell him what to do when he's out on the field. And therefore,
that's true, but
and therefore,
if we try to have a festival,
yes,
for cricketers, because if we got a better way.
To have a referee, you have to go to the national lottery. There's nothing wrong in having certain procedure that you have to follow. And if it doesn't follow the procedure, there's nothing wrong in denying you that. There's also procedure. You can't have a referee without going to the lottery. Because the lottery is the umbrella organization. Just like if you want to have a tournament, is West Indies cricket is the body.
Well, tell me something now.
Yes.
Because of politics, you think if we want to have a real tournament to include in West Indies, you think Dr. Shallow will approve anything like that?
Dr. Shallow have to wait. Listen to me. Dr. Shallow have to go with the decision of the board. He only the president all the time. You could oppose certain things, but once you have the majority, you have to go with the majority position, and that is how we stand. You could be displeased, you could be mad as hell as you want, but if the board make a decision, you can't overrule the board decision.
Yeah, but how we have to go on the board? And in black and looking to come to Sylvan.
I don't know if you blocking anything, but let me. Yeah, but
so
thank you.
Something to me?
Yeah, I'm going to simplify it. Let me simplify it. Okay. And it's a confidential letter. I don't know how I got it, but it's to Joseph Manuel. I refer to your letter dated the 27th of January 2025 and April 17, 2025. I write to inform you that the Public Service Commission has noted that you have failed to report. Oh, sorry. I read the wrong thing. Sorry, boy. Sorry, boss. I confused. I was supposed to read all you want. Okay, yes. Okay, so St. Vincent Cricket Festival, the 31st of July to the 4th of August. There, Mrs. Mark, I wanted to follow up on your my letter sent yesterday regarding our must come from CWI ahead of CPL. So basically, this thing, they should have wrote to CWI first and they write to CPL. That is just the confusion. So you just clarify that and get the cricket going. It's as simple as that. The thing is, what happened? They push the cart before the wheel.
Yeah, but you know, Charlotte in politics, and the Humbug in the Prime Minister had real bad.
Well, the Prime Minister...
With all the insensitivity of
You could remember anybody. No, don't stop on the man. Don't stop on the man. I asked you if you could remember anybody before to anybody as a old windbag.
Yeah.
Okay, and you think that was right?
No.
Okay.
But what happened? The political
Well, but shall we in politics too? Shall we in politics and Dr. Gonsalves in politics? Both of them in politics is political picang too.
Yeah.
Both of them are in politics. Both of them are in politics now. According to you, both of them are politics and it's the same political picang. That is according to your answer, of course, so James are all in bag.
Well. So James was in power?
No, but shall we not in power?
Shall we not in power?
No.
Well, even elect a set of people.
Yeah.
Politics in resign.
Who?
If he's a teacher, you're going to run to politics.
Well, no, they passed a law recently. The public servants. You remember they had a confusion earlier. And then when persons ran, they refused to give them back the work. I think it was, what is his name again? Johnson, Bash, and I can't remember the other. What is his name? The preacher who died. The preacher, yes. And I can't remember the preacher name who died. Yes, but
so.
Yeah, you agree with me?
I love being tongue, you know.
No, you agree with me?
Nah.
Okay.
Because tell you something. I sell like a business closed down to bigger.
Okay, like which one open bigger?
And more renting station.
Which one open a bigger?
Well, yeah, but okay. I don't know the street and
no, just give the name. You don't have
have any government could just employ
no, we ain't discussing that you can employ everybody there, but I'm just trying to understand your level of reasoning.
Yeah, but during you saying, but let me tell you something.
soon as your program began, it has been cutting and cutting it. So I have to reboot, but as soon as that JLP man calling, it's called it never stop dropping. Pleasant good night. Pleasant good night. Hello. Okay, Mr. Call back. I don't know. Call it back. I don't know, friend.
What?
Okay. Good night.
Hey, Abraham.
Yes.
They don't understand why your name is Abraham. You must have patience. You forget what Abraham is in the Bible. And that's why they call you Father Abraham. You make me laugh today, boy. Anyway, that's one thing. Serious internet problem. The whole of North Leeward is hooked up via the internet. Or lose internet down in Layu. That problem is. And Flo tonight has whole evenings. But so if there's no internet down at Layu, then North Leeward get knocked off.
Okay.
Right? But we have two sets of internet in the studio. So one is running now the internet radio.
Okay.
It's a battle.
Yes.
In St. Vincent, we have very difficult situation to deal with. I want to is atrocious on both networks. You could you're supposed to get probably around 25 megs up and down. That's where normally you get it. You've been getting one out of 25 on both networks. So it's a problem. And then the home internet now, we're having serious difficulty. It's frustrating. How could because everything you have to in our country. You are paying good money for but you are getting very poor delivery. So I just wanted to say that. So persons who see it cutting in and out, we had to do some manipulation to try to get a thing. And fortunately for Razor Blade, when they run it properly, he was inside it, occupied and making me laugh. So let's deal with the issue of any gaming that you want to do.
Correct.
Whether school want to put on a raffle or anything, as simple as that. You have to get sanction from the National Lottery. If you do it, but the consequences of putting it on will be. If you're going to have anywhere in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, once you're going to have a musical show, you you have to go to the Copyright Authority and get approval. You hear what I mean?
Yes.
Right. It's Echo or something the other. Echo.
Yes.
Have approval. They could still come back after the show and make you accountable to that. You understand?
Yes.
We see with
Correct. But you still have to do the inspection.
during construction. But even just to put up a simple circuit breaker box
correct.
for you to be able to use your power tools and all kind of thing. Vilnic has to inspect.
The inspector department,
The inspection department has to do that, and you have to take that pay to Vilnic before Vilnic would.
You have to go Treasury Force and pay.
So remember, we speak in politics. That is while listening to understand institutions. Responsibility of the city. You could go to a loan shark, You could go by a loan shark and borrow money and say, man, lend me some money. I can't go by the bank. Lend me some money. And that man might not even make you sign a document. Because, when he come to collect his money, he may come with stick and some other things and so forth to collect his money. So you could have that. But if you go to any financial institution to borrow money, whether it's credit union, whether it's Singer, hire purchase, have rules and regulations.
Correct.
And they don't have those regulations on their own, Their regulations are in concert with the financial regulations that the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines lay down for anyone who dealing with money. I had an incident where I met a young lady from Guyana who came to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I was telling Major this, and I tell him why they need to correct this matter. Here's a lady come from Guyana. daughter and granddaughters, and I couldn't see the lady stranded here because of a institutional framework that does not take into consideration the difficult. This lady was at the mercy of a lot of situation here. So we speaking about how institutions function. Now we come to the issue of cricket. If Cricket West Indies as sanction is the government. But remember, Gonzalez one time was the CARICOM spokesperson on cricket there. Gale and all. Remember them things. Why would you want to circumvent the very institutions that is authentic from a CARICOM perspective? That laws governing it. The very setting up of Cricket West Indies is authentic. Why would you want to circumvent it? The matter was a simple matter. You're going to want to have a festival. There's no problem with that. People like entertainment, but you go to the place wherein you get your sanctioning and you go about your business. But no, you went the other way around. You went through CPL, and based on both letters, CPL is saying, thought by conversation in between the lines of the letter that St. Vincent had already had permission from Cricket West Indies. In between the lines of the letters, and you would see. But in the politics, because Shallow is a politician, he believes that he can pull ranks. And he is Prime Minister, and he is the Lord of all his services. And he wanted to show Shallow that I don't have to deal with you, because you are a little black from down Lee. That's who you are to me. And I couldn't go past to have respect for these people, because if you set down rules where you want to break the rules, if there's institutional you remember, I'm not political now, when it was said how much money ND received from certain people and so forth for campaign. You remember that?
Yes, yes.
Now, if that you are privileged these information that you set up regulatory bodies to that to how much money a political party, but nobody how much money and who and where and when your money comes. You see where I have institutional breakdown? You remember when the $1 million was deposited in the bank? And you had this deposited US monies in the bank account, the bank deposited monies, and that you would pull all over the clothes. And why you see your father Abraham for you, because you are real patient to the people who just don't have understanding that all this thing. And that's when I listen to intelligent people debating it West Indies, I start to say, it's ironic that the festival is called Emancipation Festival, but all these intelligent people who are hangers on Ralph Gonsalves' coattails have of having that festival without this basa. If they had to cut these and get approval. But you see what you do when you try to show that you bully pulpit, bullying everybody, you get. So you get resistance now because people say, look, you so confident in me because you want to Allah God Almighty. You know that you're doing right. The reason why West Indies have been doing so bad over the last umpteen years, not now, is because the domestic cricket, which is fed through the system, is not well organized, and we're not playing any quality domestic cricket. Imagine you don't have gears in school for cricketers. We had Abraham, we had a schools cricket tournament. Only about 60?
Oh, yeah.
About 60 schools? You have 8 schools participating, and the tournament didn't last as long as the J5 it last 3 weeks, and it dead like a donut right there. That was the end of that.
sports and cultural activities in this country has declined drastically because they want to dictate and control, and it was never so before.
But if you're going to control and do it properly.
But then, if you don't, if you don't have the structures to control it, you don't
but
have.
That's what I'm saying. So
and then you're putting square pegs in wrong. Sand Hill was a big anniversary. And this year, Sand Hill has been reduced to the second division in football. Never happened before.
Look,
when you demise Lloyd Lewis,
do with what the hell he feel like. And everybody must coil the tail because the man who owns every square inch of the country is talking. What he wants is a cement bullhole in his backside. Good night.
All right, good night. Yeah, boy, it was.
So, these are the situations. You go to North Leeward, they destroy the Chumaka playing field. And run away. Right? And they continue. They came in with a number of hard courts already in place, built by the NDP, where various sports used to take place. You lock them away from the army people.
A pleasant good night.
To the agony that our country suffers, be held accountable. It is our duty in the next, as much as possible in the next several months, for us to discuss our and the intelligentsia, the people who are the brighter guys in the society, must play a significant role. Concluded now. We're under clock. Huh? Look at every area we have it. For example, my community of St. David, those villages down there. We were very active in cricket. That is what kept us here. Huh? We had, hearing it?
Yes, I'm listening.
We had about 3 cricket teams. Every holiday, they are out. When there's cricket at home, 2 or 3 teams have gone out to play in the countryside. That's where we were. Huh? Now, the poor farmers can't get to the... Had we been getting to the land, we would have been to the maintenance of the fields. Look at Chumaka doesn't have a playing field. We produce if we had the field going by now, last 10 years, we might have had a dozen or more people of test material, you know. And that would have impacted positively the cricket in the island because they went down there and did put a bulldozer on the piece of land they said they got. And that's nothing. And effrontery to say the Kumbala to practice. That's where we are. That's nearly sounds like Yeah? Because look at what has happened. Huh? We're not making any progress. And so I am saying all of us who have any capacity have to get in this way any headway. As a matter of fact, we might think if we don't start to retrieve our society. As a matter of fact, the Prime Minister sometime about a year or two ago talked about repair. he said that on their faces as they walk the road, that was true. Well, the farmers. I know everybody is crying about food security. And I have an issue with the ECCB and even Cardi and UWI. When our administrators said they were going to stimulate the economy in 2008, they said they're going to spend significant monies in tourism, construction, manufacturing, and fishing. Not a cent was budgeted for agriculture. And that was no mistake. That was no oversight. But because the ECCB then said one could import food cheaper if we if we bought out collectively from where? Outside of the region. That's what we're doing now. We're buying food from outside of the region. It is not cheaper and it is not as reliable. So this is where we are. But of the role that Sinvets play in producing food for the region. Because we're shipping food to Trinidad and Barbados and some of the islands north too. We had stuff going to in Marcus's time. We had stuff going. Imagine that. And now we importing all sorts of. So, my friends, you all stay strong because you all have to play a significant role in this discussion so that we could grapple with our circumstances here.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too. While government had to take some of the blame for the decline in sports, I think technology have a lot to do with it also.
Yeah.
And technology is to take a significant share of the blows. Because I remember in the early days, we playing football and cricket almost whole day.
Even when the sun going down.
Exactly. When the rain come, that was the best time for us. So, but the thing is, and you make men we want to 10 or 11 years, and we used to we'd send right to Lloyd Lewis and inform him, give him the approximate duration of the tournament and blah blah blah. We get approval. Went to Dorset Hill, but we never had any problem. I'm just saying that the procedure. So when the procedure in place, you just have to follow the procedure, because when they place it under the sports council, we just have to write to the sports council and give the sports council the time and the duration, and we had no problem also. The thing is, with the community centers, what happened, there used to be community leaders responsible for the community centers, and then we place political activists in charge of the community center. So you had some problem, but the procedure was the same. You write to the committee, inform them, and you get permission to use it. So I'm saying everything the people have certain procedure that you have to follow, and therefore there's no difficulty, or there ought to be no difficulty in following. Just lay it down, and I think that is the problem we have. I remember as sometime last week, I was speaking to somebody who were in a particular position, and they indicated to me that, and when I was in that position, there was a problem with a particular hard code in an area. And we suggested to the particular individual the heat now. But the window was being broken all the time by the players. And then they took it on themselves to erect this wall, and now they start to complain about heat. So you have the problem, but like I say, difficult part to, and be honest, the generation don't involve like we in our day is a fact. And some of it is to be blamed on the system itself, because we started cricket and football. We used to play cricket and football from primary school. I know living up when the kiddies cricket, and so there was always that in the
grassroots level.
Exactly. And but I don't know what is happening now.
Unless like Sardine with his academy and so.
Correct. But that's more football.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he also tries guy, he was once in charge of the sports council.
Okay.
A guy May.
Okay.
His mother used to work by
Okay. Because after
coats.
After he looks, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah. He recently been thing.
Okay.
But I'm saying this. You have a lot of persons there. Okay? And you have a lot of students going to the community college doing sports. Why are we not challenging them into the system? Right? So you have a group of 5 or 6 who deal with cricket,
right,
netball, right?
That's all the point. We'll come back to you. Pleasant good night.
Hello?
Pleasant good night. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like when
I keep him.
He doesn't. I don't think he goes on a computer or read anything. He just listens to what Gonsalves say on the radio or Ordinance say on the radio and come and repeat it. I remember one Saturday morning he called when Bishai used to be on. And Bishai said, come meet me in Kingston. I'm going to get some books and pen and pencils for you. Get put on a uniform and put you in the classroom with some 12-year-old. I think that was an excellent thing what he said there. But Sour Grapes, the PM of Sour Grapes, he helped Charlotte to get where he got, so he probably think he owes some allegiance to him. He's like, he reminded me of back in 1995 when there was this Calypsonian, the late Calypsonian, Robbie. He owned the building there, the gas station, Touch Entertainment Center. And Williams. And then newspaper that one time Arthur Williams representing you and one time you representing somebody else against you. And then a couple of days after that, he went to Arthur Williams' office to try to kill Arthur Williams. He shot up the place one. Which pays more money than a government minister. You know, he's taking it personal, very personal. You know, sour grapes. All right.
Okay, all right.
Bye.
So, let me go with this one. Why Vincentian they don't receive? Why are we so docile? Why can't they rise up and demonstrate against the service providers? Let me just read this other one. Dougie Gonsalves is desperate to hold on to power, so he is doing desperate things. The writing is upon the wall. Gonsalves government will fall. Yeah, Poya, go ahead.
As I was mentioning,
Yes.
and you have these, because you have a lot of people into food, and it's straight university level, also so are technically as well as theoretically. So they could come back now with the theory and the practical, which we should then make better spokespersons. We see Jamaica flying all the time, Bahamas, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados to a lesser extent also too. And we see the difference also right neighbor here, St. Lucia. Because you can hardly get the youth to come outside to spend their energy. Is the as you said, technology. They're on the tablet, they're on the phone, the mind that would be much more developed, going to the various playing arena with the communities and to take.
It's difficult now with the among. Which are the only, I'm almost going to call him a foolish one. It's only one guy used to pass up there and carry away foolishness.
Look also to I'm in Richland Park. The chosen now and destroy the playing area where they got there. They taking the material from where they cutting for the road and dumping it on it. I really don't how I just want to know if we don't have a vision, or we just continue to do things ad hoc. Of St. Hill playing field when it was going to launch.
Yeah, Francis. Yeah, correct. I was down there.
I was supporting the ULP. But I had to leave my home in all
I remember that.
And somebody say, I say, this ain't party. This is community. This is my blood, sweat, and tears. I said as a youth, I cut down guava tree and Google tree and chase pig to make ensure we have this.
Yeah, but I think the organizers could predict that rain was going to come that particular day, and secure the pitch at least.
And even afterwards, because I could recall what took place too with the grammar school playing field.
Yeah, I remember that too.
And then when they finished, they was going to bring the crystal sun to throw on the field. And I said, no, we don't want this here because that is what destroy grammar school playing field. Because it's dead. Too. Well, they didn't throw it. They didn't. They went and wanted to do, well, they had a Jamaican guy who was in charge. I was out there too. And I told them not to cut the field. Just take the grass, put it one side, and then when you finish, just put back on the top grass because say he had a special set of grass. But they take it and they put it in the landfill. You look at the landfill and notice if the grass ever get tall and bushy. Because that's where it is.
They used to have the Independence cricket village competition also, cricket competition.
But now we used to have the soccer competition
now. I know that. The thing is that I remember going with a small. He used to coach the under 15 and under 19. And then a lot of good cricketers emerge, but that all of those things disappear. And we can't expect things to stay stagnant, but we see things happening again in sport based on the mindset of the young people and also the technology. I don't know how we're going to do it. We will get something still, but I don't know how we're going to do it.
I remember school netball. And a number of people made the national netball team from in school. Remember Cartel Young and them, Joanna Ballantyne, girl Julie from Mexico, from high school. And you had the rivalry in secondary school netball. Well, also primary school too, because you had a rivalry between Stony Ground, Sign Hill, and I think Richmond Hill.
But you used to have volleyball too active. I don't see anybody. Because the mindset of the young people are different, but more.
I think if it starts with the kindergartens and them, because that's where we have to start now, a fresh generation. The kindergarten have various persons here. Well, the guys in them, some of them
to you guys, but I have to call. I know it's late, but you know, in primary school, netball. When I was going to King. Mr. Hayes' daughter and KBB, who was living right across from Anglican. They had a tournament when the European tournament. They had a lady, I believe she was from St. Kitts. I'm not 100% sure. when KBB beat her to Kingston Anglican School, from Kingston Anglican School. So I am of the opinion that you must put sports back in the primary school. I stand with you guys 100% because in Kingston Anglican School, you also had Sam Ives, who turned out to be one of St. Vincent out of primary school.
They had,
You had out of
Teixeira from Mespo, Albert Teixeira.
Right. And you had out of, as simple as it may look, out of Dorsetshire Hill School, you have Whittle, who is Winston Davis.
Well, he any brothers in him? Because he just
the brother. The Whittle brothers who used to out, and you had Zepton Graves who come out of that area. So I come back to the point that you back in primary school in order to feed a system, you must have a system. Now in America here, you have a system in the schools, and that system feed the prisons. Right? You must have to feed the end product, and the end product is to play road cricket.
Cricket and football.
Yeah,
it's correct.
When I run to the side.
Yeah, and the Juicy Quid.
Yeah.
When I'm married, I think we lost the caller.
Well, they say the emancipation month activities are up, so I think we could look at that next week also too, while looking at other issues like the same thing that we ended up on this evening.
Dog, I'm joking off you. Say you thought you was going to say it was you used to play netball. See what, because we don't limit any discussion, but I agree that the issue of the whistleblower side, because I think in 1999 when we had that march in Dog and we block up Cable and Wireless at the time, led by Glenn Jackson, and all of us was there, but until next week, we have a wonderful evening.
And the Grenadines, you can still listen to us on Nice Radio's website, www. You can email us at bdsnice@gmail.com, 784-456-5967. Remember, it's Keeping It Real, the interactive talk show program heard each and every Friday, only on Nice Radio.
Today, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Tomorrow, the Caribbean. Nice Radio.